You got one eye, and I'm like,
I'm glad you're not wearing sunglasses,
I
because
know.
that's gonna look like he's gonna be in them all the time.
right.
So I just got the record like a week and a half ago, and he's the guy who gave it to me, and I was sitting down with with a guy who was doing like graphics and all that from the magazine I'm writing for. We just had 3 CDs, so of course yours went in first. We have to say the cover kind of did what it was supposed to do. We put it in, and we were like, "Wow, turn this up!" And everybody in the agency kind of came on and said, "Who's that?" They're like real cool, like yeah, what's that cover?
Great.
And it's really, I mean, it's just my kind of music, my kind of
Thank you.
stuff, and I love your singing. And then it's so funny when you just listen to it on the side, and you just kind of okay, it's really nice music and really cool. I love those grooves, and I love those. And then you come a little later, you listen to it on the headphones, and you kind of go like, "What's she talking about?"
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's so much content in the lyrics.
Right.
It's really mind blowing, especially when you compare it to a lot of stuff that's going on.
Right. Today.
I just read a whole huge story on Marvin Gaye and the making of what's going on, and how much was behind that, and how much went into that, and how much of his own life he incorporated into
Right.
that record. And
Yeah,
it seems to me that that's
the
a lot
same
to
thing.
do.
Yeah, this album is actually based on my life and all my experiences that I have gone through in the last 3 years or so. And when I was making the album, I didn't have a concept for the album. I just wrote about what I was going through and everything that I felt. What came out there is what I was just experiencing at the time.
But that first song couldn't have been about it.
Which one, While I'm Flying? No, While I'm Flying. While I'm Flying is actually a song that I had written about my own death. That song came about through a dream, and I think it came about because I used to have a fear of death, fear of dying. And so one evening I had a dream that I had seen my own funeral, but inside the dream everything was peaceful and it was pleasant. And so when I had woke up, I just wrote about exactly what I had experienced. So I think that that particular song now probably comes from a higher source because its lyrics are like really, really good. When I look back at it, I'm like, wow, I wrote this. So I'm proud of that one.
Well, you should be, because that's something that I always think about. I mean, there will come the time, and
Right.
we wouldn't want them all to be crying and just be sad. I mean, we would much rather prefer them to have us, have some happy memories and share some.
Yeah, I think that when people listen to that song now, it kind of gives them a better way and a better understanding to deal with death. I've had a lot of people approach me on the subject now and say that they have a different approach to it now. They understand it a lot better.
Now another song that's, and I also read that some magazine, what was it? I don't know what it was, but anyway, they were saying that the Blue Bottle aftershave was definitely.
Okay, we gotta cut 1 second because the sun is making my eye water, so I gotta wipe my eye.
Sorry.
And then come right back. That's where we were.
So another song that actually we just got through listening to it when we arrived here, and we were both kind of like, okay, what is that? And I actually had to go back and check because I thought you sung Brew Bottle Aftershave. I was like,
Blue Bottle
really?
Aftershave.
She sung like that? That's nasty.
Oh, okay. Well, Blue Bottle Aftershave is a song that I had written, kind of just being funny and trying to get back at my ex-boyfriend and just saying, well, my ex-husband to be exact, just basically saying, you never really turned me on anyway. The only thing that it was your aftershave, the way you smelled. It was nothing else. And so that's what that's about.
That's cool.
It was just,
So you mean to tell
a
me
way of having fun.
you can be with a man for 11 years just the way he smells?
I think that, when I talk to other females, sometimes when we meet men, that's the first thing that attracts us to them is the way that they smell, or their smile or their teeth, something like that. So I thought that would be a good song to write, to talk about.
It is.
Yeah.
It is too. And I probably, what's that blue bottle aftershave? Is that Davidoff? Or?
Actually, it was a cheap aftershave that he used to get in the corner liquor store. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm being honest. It's, we were struggling, and so I used to go and buy it for him, and that's what he wanted, and so it smelled good.
Well, you liked
was
it.
Cheap. Yeah, it smelled good. I have a little teeny bottle at my house that I poured into a smaller bottle just to kind of remind me.
Well, but they're not. I mean, that's a touchy subject. It seems to be because they're not at all good memories.
Right? No, not at all. I mean, in the beginning, it was beautiful. It was, everything was great. But then after a while, everything became really difficult. But I don't think I recognized how difficult it was and how wrong it was until maybe the last year of the relationship, the last 2 years really. But I just didn't know how to get out of it and how to leave the situation. But my manager, Herb Trollope, who also manages Brian McKnight, helped me and began to talk to me. And for some strange reason, I put my trust in him. And I think probably because he was the only man. Was that playing?
Well, I'm flying.
I'll just pick up from Herb Trollope. And my manager, Herb Trollope, kind of helped me get out of that situation. And for some reason, I put my trust inside of him, and I think it was because he was the only man to approach me about the situation and tell me that it was wrong. And I never had someone there, like a male figure, growing up. I didn't have a father or a brother or male cousins, no grandfather, no men in the family at all. So I didn't really understand the right from the wrong. I just thought that was the way that it was supposed to be. But I realized something was wrong because I wasn't happy at all. I was just very depressed all the time. But I'm thankful that I've gotten out of that, and I'm happy where I am today.
I was going to say, you seem happy now.
Yeah, very. Very happy.
But it's interesting sometimes, when I just think about it, that funny how time flies. All of a sudden you find yourself in a relationship that's kind of been sorrow for 6 years.
Right, exactly.
You're like, we've been together for 15 years.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's
It's
weird
not working.
when I think about it, and when I think about where I am today, I would have never imagined that I would have done my own solo project and I was going to be a recording artist, and that I would be doing a little bit of modeling here and there and having Polo jeans sponsor me. I'm never getting to go to Germany soon and come visit you guys. So, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. Everything is like falling into the palm of my hands now that I let go of all the negative karma.
Say that again. That usually happens. That's what fate does to you.
Right.
Once you let it go.
Yeah.
It was interesting as soon as we came on to Misty, I was like, yeah, that's Mr. Magic. I've heard that before. And now she's even singing the guitar line.
Yeah.
I was like, Ralph McDonald. He's kind of going back to his old stuff, saying, well, I'm not going to sue myself over using that.
We got permission to use that, so it was cool. We lost a lot on that, but I think it needed to go on the album, so.
No, it's real nice. I mean, it's a real nice song.
It's
what you made of it.
I think that's a fun song, I hate when people have prejudice in them, whether it be for someone's skin color, for someone's size, whether they're tall, short, if they're a midget or they're a giant or if they're fat or if they're skinny. I just don't like prejudice at all. And that song's about someone being gay and someone hitting on me. And I've experienced that a lot. And I think probably it's because I'm quiet and I'm more laid back. And so I'll get men and females hitting on me, but it doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by it. Sometimes I think it's funny. And so I said, let me write a song about it, and show people a different way to look at it. So, instead of people getting upset and saying, oh, I want to beat them up, or, I just gave them a different way to say, look, it's not that bad. You know who you are inside, so don't worry about it.
Plus, you're going to have a hard time beating up some of those women. Sorry.
I'm not violent at all anyway, so I'm peaceful.
You don't look violent at all.
No, not at all. I have friends of all different, races and gay, straight, whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
I can't help
looking at the tattoo, and so I gotta ask you where the name comes from and what the warrior kind of means to you.
Cherokee is actually my nickname. I have Cherokee in me. I have Native American in me. I'm black first, but I have on my mom's side I have Cherokee. I also have Seminole and Blackfoot as well. But I just thought Cherokee was a cooler nickname. But the head, the Native American head, just represents strength for me. I got this at a point in my life when I just felt strong, and it's the only tattoo that I have, and it's probably the only one that I'll ever get, unless I get like something tribal. If I go to Africa or something, if I do something like that. But I'm not going to get any more. I mean, I don't want to scar my body. But this one, I needed this at that time, and it meant a lot to me. So.
It's funny because the first thing I thought of was the song Cherokee.
Oh.
Do, 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 do.
Everyone tells me that.
It's like,
Yeah.
is he singing it?
No.
Is that a theme song or something? No, it isn't.
No, I mean, I really don't. A lot of my music doesn't really have anything in common with my heritage. I don't put the two together. I'm still growing and learning in that aspect. So I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not trying to come out with feathers and long hair. And, I'm not trying to go there. I didn't grow up on a reservation. I grew up in Brooklyn in the hood. So I'm just being real.
So it was the music that brought you from Brooklyn to LA in the first place, right?
Yes.
Back when it was still
Yeah.
the infamous duo.
Right, exactly. And that was in 92. We moved out in 91, and 92 is when that album came out, but it just went downhill. Didn't do anything, so. But I love LA. I think I'll probably stay here, for a while, depending on if I decide to have children and, who I fall in love with and where that person is or whatever.
Why am I distracted?
I said children.
Yeah.
He's distracted.
We're talking about Cherokee, right? I think I wanted to talk about now. Ralph McDonald and William Salter, they're listed as co-writers on Misty. Did you actually write the song with them?
No, we just used their.
You just
We
used
played
that
the music
part, right?
over, so we have. That's the credit that you have to put down for it, or else you'll be sued. So we have to put that down. Yeah.
That would have been funny though.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been cool to get sued.
No, not at all. Not at all. Happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a credit that you have to show. We didn't actually sample it; we just played it over. It doesn't even sound exactly like it, but we still had to. When you hear it, you know where it's come from, so you can't get away with it and try to be slick,
Yeah, a lot of people have tried that before and failed miserably.
Yeah, it's not a cool thing. I wouldn't want someone to use my music and then not credit me for it, so I respect them. Give them their credit is due.
Tell me a little about the musicians, because I was trying to check who they are, and this only does have this kind of one-sided booklet, and doesn't really tell me a lot about who's playing on it.
Okay, well, first of all, the producers that worked along with me are three unknown producers: Myron McKinley, Tony Nance, and Angela Earl. I chose to work with new producers so that I would become a producer's product. I have my own sound and my own vision and what I wanted to put down. And so I got these cats and I asked them to help me develop it, and that's what they did. And as far as the musicians that played on it, there's a guy named Cedric who played drums, and he's in my band as well. Myron McKinley, who's also one of the producers, he played keys on a lot of the songs. Taku, who's a percussionist, he played, and he's also in my band as well. And I also had, who else? I mean, there's so many people that I use, and I use different people sometimes for different sessions. I use a bass player named Boucher. A lot of these musicians are unknown that I use, and I wanted to do that purposely because there's so many talented musicians out there that don't, even get the chance. But I also use Billy Preston, who wrote back in the day with the Beatles. He played on a song called My Own Queen. He played the organ.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a great experience.
So you were in the studio with him, of course.
Yes, yeah. Saying, no, I don't like that. Yeah, I like that. But I loved everything that he did, so it was cool. I just sat back and let him lead the way.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of like paying respect to the elders, to the people who kind
Exactly.
of originated.
Exactly, yeah. hopefully on the next album I will get to work with more musicians, from back in the day, older musicians as well.
It's funny because Michelle and Cello got a couple of Paul Reiser, the old Motown arranger, to do strings on her last record. And
Yeah.
seems to be a lot more. Like D'Angelo had Wah Wah Watson come out over with him to Europe and all that. So
yeah, he's a great guy too. D'Angelo and Wah Wah, both of them are great. Michelle's great as well. I like all of them as artists. Get away, Buds. I love bugs.
She was not talking to me, okay?
I love nature, but I just don't want them to fly in my mouth.
You do your own thing, but somewhere else.
Yeah, not right now.
It's interesting to see that. I mean, we had clubs, and I had a little label in Germany, and we were always spinning that 70s funk and soul stuff, and even some jazz, what's now called acid jazz. Mm-hmm. And there was a climate where that was something completely new coming out of all this computer-generated music. So it's still refreshing to me to hear music that is really played, and of course it's got a little some on there, to make it compatible with the stuff on the radio.
Right, exactly. It is refreshing, and it's about time, that it comes back. And radio's just going to have to continue to bend a little more because, they're so set in the same format. Everything has to sound the same and feel the same, and that's not cool. Everyone doesn't want that. And so hopefully, with artists like Erykah Badu and D'Angelo and Maxwell and Lauryn Hill and myself, that music can continue to grow and take it back to where it originated.
That's right. And it's nice that all of these artists that you just mentioned are getting a lot of respect and a lot of encouragement from all sides, it seems.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
And when I look at your press kit, it seems like you're getting
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I have no complaints. Trip RCA has been really good to me. They've been very supportive, and Polo Jeans have been very supportive, and I'm just happy everything's going smooth so far. Just keeping me busy, which is a good thing. Okay, hey Baxter.
Hey Baxter, if you want to stay with me, okay?
Yeah.
you want to sit?
Baxter wanted to get the spotlight. This is Baxter, everyone. He's a Vizsla. He's a hunting dog. Okay, Baxter, sit. Baxter's still a puppy. That's why he's ignoring me. Baxter, sit. 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 He hasn't gone to puppy school yet.
Hey Baxter, sit or go.
Sit. Come on, sit. Okay, there we go.
Very good.
We'll try to continue this with Baxter. Oh.
Yeah, Baxter.
Damien!
No. This is white. Paws don't work on white. Okay.
Okay.
Now another song that kind of caught my ear was when you were talking about your eclectic collection of men that kind of had it.
Uh-huh. Which one is that?
Which is ranging from Maxwell to
that had the sexy something.
That had the sexy something.
Yeah.
So what is the sexy something other than blue bottle aftershave with good smell?
For me, sexiness is different. With each male, it ranges. It can be the way a person smiles. It can be the way they walk. It can be the way they dress. It can be the way they stare. It can be. It's just it's different for each individual, and the way that I judge men, I never judge them immediately by the way they look. Each one is different for me. Like I don't have a certain type of guy that I like or that I look for. Everyone says I want the tall, dark, handsome, or this or that. I don't have that. Each time it's different. I can go from this and to that, and it'll be completely opposite. So for me, sexiness is just different. It depends on the individual.
You're not Pisces by any chance, are you?
I'm a Cancer. Sensitive creature.
Yeah, that kind of. But it kind of goes with what you were saying about being open-minded and not being prejudiced and all that. I mean, I got a real lesson in that when I went to West Africa just 4 weeks ago.
Oh wow!
And it was my first time in sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
And I went there for a music conference, and that really made me everything that I thought I knew before was completely wrong,
Wow.
and the opposite.
Wow, that's amazing.
because I've been growing up with all this music about Mother Africa this and Mother Africa that, and everybody from Isaac Hayes telling me how he was crowned a king in Ghana, and Roy Ayers going here and there, and Randy Weston talking about Morocco and all that. So I had all these preconceived notions about how it was going to be, and it was nothing like that. You know?
Wow. How long did you stay there?
I only stayed for a week, and to tell you the truth, West Africa, if you're a beginner, a week is just fine.
Really?
You want to go back and try and not think about what that food is that you're having right now, and where you're spending them, what that mosquito is doing to you. You know, you can. I mean, the preparation is just amazing.
Wow.
You know, you go to LA, you buy a plane ticket and just go. You know, you don't even need a visa. For this, you need a visa 4 weeks in advance. I had 10 shots. I was out for a week because I had yellow fever, malaria, everything.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
You know, so when you...
So that's what I have to look forward to. Wow.
It's worth it. Believe me.
Wow.
It's really well worth it.
Really?
And the funny thing was that there were so many people there that didn't let go of their preconceived notions. You know, from like the big French guys that the first thing they did was buy an African shirt and feel like they just, you know, fit in. Right. Oh, you're not from here?
Right.
Up to like, you know, the African Americans that sat by the pool all day talking about the good old days and complaining about the South and all that.
They didn't really experience the culture.
Like, why don't you talk to somebody who's from here and all?
Yeah, I can't wait to begin traveling and go over there. I mean, I can't even imagine what that experience is going to be like.
So you've never been outside the U.S.?
Not at all.
Well, I mean, the U.S. is big enough and you're young enough to...
Just recently gotten a passport, so I'm just waiting now. Excited. Get to come to Germany and London, and so I guess those are my first out of state, so I'm excited.
But Africa is probably on your list too.
Yeah, definitely. I want to travel and see and do as much as I possibly can, before I really, really settle and have children. Even if I do decide to have children soon, I'll take them with me or whatever.
That works.
Yeah.
My mom just had us and was back at work like the next day.
Really?
We had a nanny and we loved her. So.
I want a big family, yeah.
You've been with that guy for 11 years. Did he never see, fit to have that big family with you?
Yeah, I actually wanted to have a family. He was never ready, and I'm thankful now that didn't happen. I guess God had a master plan for me, and so when you're in something like that, and at the time I didn't understand, why, this and that, and now I see, it was God just looking out for me. So I'm happy that I didn't do that. Now I can wait.
So you just mentioned God, so I have to talk about your spirituality because you do seem to be, just from the way your aura is very spiritual, very, I don't know, you must believe in something to be the way you are.
Yeah, I definitely believe that there is a higher being. I definitely believe in God. I don't practice any certain religion, though. I just try to live my life right and to be righteous and do good, and not to, like I said, have any prejudice against people, and just to live right, and to be healthy. That's really all I do, and I pray. And I think a lot of my prayers are being answered. Definitely.
Batterie macht langsam.
Now, I have to ask you about that video, because I saw it a couple of times. And not only because of the way you dance, but because I was trying to make sense of what's going on. And
you know what? A lot of people say that. I didn't write that treatment. I personally, I love the video. I think the video was shot very beautifully. But I think that it does confuse people to what's going on. The concept for the video was that there's this guy you see in the beginning who's walking through the desert. He meets this old lady. When he looks through the glasses, he goes into a fantasy. And the fantasy takes him back to a circus kind of era. And I'm there, the mannequins are there, but you see they kind of move once in a while, but every time he turns around, they become mannequins again. Basically, he's being turned on by me, and he wants to get to me, but he never really gets to meet me. And then right when he gets up to the bar, and I'm in, we're in the bar, and he disappears. So we never really make that connection. But I think it kind of got lost a little bit, but I think it was beautifully shot.
Oh, I think so too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful video.
I think the video has actually helped the song a lot because we get airplay for the song, but not everywhere where we would want to. But that's okay. It's just the first single, and I think I have a long career. It's just only my first single, you know.
What's gonna be the second single?
Hopefully, it's going to be Stepping Stone.
That was nice. How in the world are you gonna have a clean radio version of Stepping Stone?
We actually just cut one. Yeah, we had to go back, but it was hard to try to clean that up because the emotions in that were so real, you know, and to try and go and fix it and make a goody two-shoe version, it was really difficult. But it's funny, in New York, BLS accidentally played that one over the air. They
Oops.
meant to play another song, but they played that. So that was great. I was excited that they did that.
Oh, were you there at the time?
I know all my friends told me, they were like, they're supposed to play fictitiously, but I heard Stepping Stone. There was cussing, and I was like, yay. So that's a good thing. But yeah, there is a clean version.
So what is the guy doing now? Has he moved back to Nebraska or something
No,
to just
he
hide
lives
out?
He lives out here, and he's has a family now. He's with someone else, and we don't keep in contact, so I really don't know what's going on in his life. You know, he has his own life, and I have my own life.
And you really are getting back at him, that's for sure.
You know, I guess success is the best revenge. You know.
Yeah, it's the best thing for you to
Yeah.
happen, you know.
I mean,
see
I
it
don't
positively.
hate him. It's, you know, because of what I've gone through, I'm here today. You know, it's like, it's really odd.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have ever known, you know? So I'm happy.
Very true. Now, something else that I mentioned before that is kind of very obvious in the video is the way you dance. Now, that kind of looks like just a little bit of training, or a little bit of this haven't been a hobby for a little while now.
I think dancing is just a hobby. You know, I like to go out dancing. Sometimes I go to clubs and I dance with my friends. But I used to dance a long time ago. I used to break dance a long time ago when it first came out, and I used to make money on the streets dancing. So dancing is kind of a natural thing. But I've always was dancing since I was little. It's just something that we all do, and you know, where I grew up, and it's just a natural thing that's kind of just inside of you. You know, I can watch someone dance and just catch on to it. So I'm excited that that's a natural gift, because it would be hard to learn all that stuff. You know what I mean? It would be really hard. It would take some time. So
That's for sure.
yeah.
So where about in Brooklyn are you from?
Crown Heights. I grew up on Franklin Avenue in Eastern Parkway.
Wow.
Yeah, and my family's still over here, so it feels good to go back there and, you know, to see all my family and all my old friends from growing up.
Yeah, that must be exciting.
Yeah, it is. And you know, those are really your friends, because they've always been there. You know, they're the same. They don't treat me any different, which is great. So I get to go there and remember where I've come from. You know, it feels good.
That's also one of the big differences between Brooklyn and Manhattan.
Mhm.
There seems to be a lot more. Reality is not the real word. Realness.
Yeah, I was actually born in Harlem, but I grew up in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's not Manhattan.
You know, Harlem Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah,
That place has a lot of history.
yeah. They're actually fixing it up now. It's becoming, like, you know, it's really nice, and they're building houses over there. So I haven't gone there for a while, but next time I go to New York, I think I'll probably go back and just look at everything and see where I lived, and because I lived there for like maybe 2 years with my grandmother.
Yeah, like you said, you grew up with the ladies of the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only women. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're saying you were dancing back then, were you also singing when you were young?
Yes.
Or kind of thinking of, that's what I want to be when I'm 12?
It was always something in the arts, but I knew that songwriting and singing was my first love, definitely. But I was always putting bands together. I always had a band situation going on in my mother's house, and She was so cool with that. She didn't mind me bringing in drummers and musicians and tugging amps into the house, and the music was blasting, and she just didn't care. She was like, "Do your thing." And so, thanks to my mom, I was able to continue doing that. She's been very supportive through my childhood and through my whole career. Yeah.
And she's obviously still around to enjoy the fruits of your and her labor.
Yeah, she's very happy for me, very excited, and very proud.
But probably wants you to come back to New York. And
you know what? I'm back there like every month anyway.
Wow.
I'm there so often because RCA is actually out there, the branch I'm signed through, so I go back all the time. Yeah.
That's good for her. It was funny when I just heard about your polo connection there for a little while, because just thinking of it, we met Tyson on the elevator the other day.
Oh, okay.
I was like, he's so small. No, but that was not what I was thinking, at first at least.
Right.
But the fact that whole campaign and that whole, a mainstream company embracing black models and really doing their ads in the Source and Vibe and all those magazines really maybe even helped, some people overcome prejudice or,
I think with me and Polo, they're helping me definitely with, with getting my music out there, because right now I'm on a Polo tour. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be on tour right now. And my music is getting exposed to a lot of people in a lot of different cities. And I think that's a really good thing, that they're behind me and helping me. I'm more of a spokesperson for them. When I perform, I wear their stuff. I have on Polo right now. I just love Polo anyway, And when I was a kid, I never could afford it, so now I get it for free, which is a great thing. But I don't actually model for them, but when I do photo shoots, I try to incorporate some of their clothing with the other stuff that's given to me. But I wish I was modeling for them, but they haven't hired me yet, so you hear that. You hear that. You better get me for somebody else does.
And we know they will. I mean,
so
after
I'm
all
just
these...
waiting to see,
So what's the next step now? You still do on this tour, right?
Yes, I'm still doing this tour. I have maybe 8 more cities to go. And then once this is done, I go overseas. And then I come back to the States. And hopefully going to get on a tour with Eric Benet. Hopefully. Yeah, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But in between all of that, I'm going to try and do a little bit of modeling. I just did a fashion shoot for Essence magazine. And that went really well. And hopefully try to get into acting as well.
So you'll be doing everything.
Yes. And I have some TV appearances coming up. I did Donnie and Marie. That's going to air on April 1st. And I did a BET special as well. And that's going to air the end of April sometime. I don't know when.
So is it Cherokee Inc. yet? www.cherokee.com.
Yeah. So they're keeping me busy, which is good. I'd rather, be doing this. And I prayed that this would happen, and this is what's happening. I'm just doing what I enjoy and what just comes naturally.
And it's a nice coincidence that you're also doing what we enjoy, so
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And keep on doing it.
I will, definitely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.